This video is sponsored by JNC Collectibles website at jnccollectibles.com. Be sure to check them out for all your TCG needs, from sealed products to sleeves to playmats. Link is in the description box below. Thank you, and back to the video.
What's good, JNC? It's JNC member Jib here with
JNC Amai or Dan, either one, but Amai is probably what everyone mostly knows me as.
yes, sir, Mr. Amai, newest JNC potential member from a good friend of mine's personally advocated for him to be on the team. And the other day, me and Amai played an Ironman versus Mr. Sean Killen. So Sean Killian, whatever, and we're gonna go over it for the channel. So for the first game, we lost the dice roll. It's the pure Snake Eye mirror match, and we opened no non-engine. So yeah, it was one of those games. You know, sometimes one of the things, especially when you play the hand trap version of the Snake Eye deck, it's just it really feels like comparing hands sometimes. You have anything to say?
Yeah, for sure. That's like the entire approach that we did with the second deck list that we used, which was mine, where it was pretty much no hand traps besides 2 Bystials in the main, because it kind of removed the RNG from that factor of it, pretty much.
Yeah. So they ended on Appaloosa, Flamber's Dragon, Formula, Imperm Set, IP, no Promethean. Okay. But yeah, this board is just like unbreakable. So we just go on to the next. They asked how many cards we're playing in the main, because we just scooped immediately. Maybe if we're playing a higher deck count, they might assume that we're playing something like Despia. I don't know. Alright, game 2. They open up double Bestial, double Bonfire, Ash, so 3 non-engine cards. But we open up Cross Out, Tactics, Poplar, Summon Limit. So our hand is also very, very strong. So we grab Original, make Linkuriboh, effective Linkuriboh, Original, that gets Ash. We cross out the Ash Blossom, summon out Snake Ash effect. We'll grab another Poplar just to get the third body on board so we can go for our combos correctly. Then we go Triple Tack to look at their hand. Triple Tack, take away the Magnamut. We know that their hand is double Bonfire, so Ash pretty much checks that immediately. We just go through with our regular Zelantis IP play. Or actually, no, we decide not to. I remember now. So we decide not to because we know they have the second Bestial.
Yeah, we elected to put Linkuriboh in the spell trap zone too, because it would, if they did want to try to Bystial, then yeah, he would have to do it then. And then at that point, we could chain the Linkuriboh and blink the Bystial too.
Yeah. So Snake Ash comes down, adding the Poplar effect. Probably searching out the Divine Temple. Yep. There, we're kind of forced to flip our cards and chain Summon Limit just to remove his stuff. Chain SP there, reason being so he can't just attack over the SP, because we might need the SP body. Or it's just good in general just to have that SP. The SP is a really good card, so we prefer to keep it. Yeah. There you go. Grab another Snake Ash effect, tribute both, summon Oak summon back Poplar effect, grab Divine Temple, and the game is just over at this point. They're not scooping it, I guess because they want to see if we know our lines, but the game is just over. Like, there's nothing they can do from this position in order to win. They made a slight... no, it doesn't matter, actually. Yeah. They go Flamberge, summon our Flamberge. We Tactics, take their Flamberge. Then Spell Trap that. Yep. Then we can climb, and the game is just over. We just climb into Zelantis and take back our Flamberge. And that's just a game over. Yeah, Raging, Zelantis effect. Gives us back our Flamberge. This is just well over game. So now on to game 3. Okay, pause to look at the hands. So on their side, they have Call by the Grave, Original, Jet, Summon Limit, Ash. So Ash, Call by the Grave is pretty strong with Summon Limit. And we have Ash, Cross Out, Bonfire. So we did open up 3 non-engine, but 2 of them were duplicates that can only be used on our turn. And Ash Blossom, which just gets checked by the Call by the Grave. Crossout is pretty good, in my opinion, in the hand trap version to keep in when you go second with 1 copy of Summon Limit. I feel like it functions as a Cosmic Cyclone while also functioning as a card that deals with hand traps when you're trying to push into boards. So I like that it has that double application.
Yeah, in some applications through the crossout, even if you are playing the mirror, it's not ideal, but there are some situations where crossout in like Flambridge Dragon pretty much checks almost all their interruptions too.
Yeah, that also happens a lot. So we could just fast forward through this. They were comboing in a weird way. We were assuming that they just had Witch in hand the way that they were playing it out. So we asked that. They had Call by the Grave. And get to this position. Well, it was awkward because the way that they played out their turn, like I feel like if we had a second hand trap, then it was just like really bad for them. But we didn't, so it is what it is. We draw Witch for turn. That's actually a pretty good draw in this position because we can safely assume that their set is Summon Limit. It's actually worse for us if their set isn't Summon Limit because then they're more likely to start activating cards, but because we have Summon Limit, then they just feel comfortable just letting us play because they're under the assumption that anything that we do is just bait to make them play into tactics or something. Because they just don't have to play. So we use that to our advantage, activating Divine Temple, putting up the Oak, and then we go battle phase. They allow that because they're like, there's no reason they're under Summon Limit. There's nothing else they could do. So we attack over the formula, and then we cross out the Summon Limit. So now we're free to play in main phase 2. The reason why we do that in the battle phase specifically is because if we cross out in the main phase 2, then they can like chain the Flambridge, where we want to have first action in main phase 2. So we do it in the battle phase, and first action main phase 2 is to summon Linkuriboh. So they activate Divine Temple targeting Masquerena. We allow it. We also opted not to use Poplar to spell trap itself because it might come up later. So they banish that, and then we summon back their Flambridge. They get a bunch of bodies, but we get their Flambridge. Oh, let me just fast forward it. Okay, so Flambridge, we target their Promethean, they chain SP. We go Bonfire, add Ash. So the reason why we end up adding Ash for the Witch was...
We need the second level 1 engrave.
Yeah, we need the second level 1 engrave. So we go Original, turn those 2 into Dark. Dark, bring back IP. Summon out Ash. Summon back to Ash. Ash into Flambridge. Turn those 2 into Raging Phoenix. Zelantis clears the board, summons everything back. Gives us back our Oak. He chains that. That's fine. So it's so unfortunate that all of this happens in main phase 2, but I don't think we were ever beating a Baron plus his setup. So we kind of were forced to do it in the main phase 1. Maybe there was a world where we could beat Baron plus the setup. I don't think so though. So
yeah, I don't think that'd be reasonable. I think we had to kind of force the Baron there, and then like we would have had it because I don't think we knew the Witch in hand, but we knew the Ash already. And then when we seen the Veiler, we were like, oh, the Veiler already checks the Ash, and then we have cross out for like something else. But then his last top deck was the Bonfire.
The Bonfire, just like it was really good there. So they started with that. We activated Witch or Princess targeting their SP to destroy it, putting back up the Flamber Dragon for more follow-up, and we have Witch on board for follow-up. So we value that and we just assume that the game is over. But nope, their last card was Bonfire. So basically, what that just allows is for them to climb into their own access code and clear our 3 monsters. And our graveyard, while having a lot of resources, we don't have any more Snake Eye cards in our deck because we had to. The Bonfire on our turn had to search the last Snake Eye Ash out of our deck, so we would be able to summon a Flambridge basically. Yeah.
And then we had sided out the Jet Sync run too.
Yeah.
1 second.
So we were just completely out of resources.
And then we just
drew a dead card. So, which is funny because like if we did have another Pyro in deck, we just like win immediately because we could just like put back the original search a Jet and then activate Bonfire, search the Oak that we put back.
Yeah.
And then it's just like it's super
game from there.
Yeah. All right, next match. So we have Amai versus Sean Gillian. And Amai, you can kind of take over the commentary a little bit.
So, this is going to be a common trend throughout the entire Ironman is we lost the rock paper scissors. So that happened literally every single match that we played. Our non-engine here is limited. We have the Bestial, and we elected to hold that for when he attempted to go for the Flambridge to put the IP in the spell trap zone. He does have the Ash Witch full synchro combo here, so the other option is Link Karibo, but in my opinion that's just significantly worse because he could chain the Link Karibo and then he can also Talons punish us too if we did elect to do that. But here, if he negates it with Savage, the Bestial that is, then we are safe from Talents in that area, so we don't have to worry about that, and then we keep the Bestial.
Yeah. So the interaction comes up here. We use the Magnamut targeting down the IP Masquerena, and they opt. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure they negate it.
Yeah, they negated it.
And then they just go into Baron immediately.
Yeah, I think they hard make Baron here.
So
here was a little shotgun prematurely here for the Bestial. So we definitely me more so than anyone else was like, oh yeah, that's incorrect. But yeah, that was definitely not the right play. I believe we ended up winning this game.
We did. The Monster Reborn was too powerful for him, but
yeah,
and we made some good call outs. We made some good call outs with the set. Because their set ends up being called by the Grave, and I believe there's like a point in the turn where we end up phoenixing their set before committing to Flambridge.
He would have impermed at some point before that, so it's not imperm, so it was either a bluff or something. We were thinking something like called by or like cross out or something, so we just elected to get rid of it because we knew that we could still push for game even if it was a dead card, so we might as well just check it anyway.
So we go battle phase to force out the SP. Again, just like using the battle phase. I felt very differently at the beginning of the format. I still kind of feel the same way, where like the battle phase is like the most important resource in these mirrors. However, sometimes you just have to accept that you have to use the battle phase in order to gain a little ground.
Yeah, so I believe there, we kind of sped past it, but I believe he didn't summon off Flambridge.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to Baron. I believe it was the Popular that he Baroned, and he would have had to choose either the Flambridge or the Popular to negate. So there, I felt more comfortable going into the battle phase, since that's like the biggest issue with wasting your battle phase is that in the fire mirrors they get so much follow up that you pretty much have to kill them.
Yeah.
But in the situations where they don't have as much follow up, like somehow the Flambridge resources gets messed up, then that becomes a little more reasonable. So we decided to clear the SP and then just play with the last card, which is the Monster Reborn. Luckily, he linked away the Baron, so that ended up being very huge for us.
And then we ended up Baroning the set.
Yeah, we didn't Phoenix it because we were... I know that happened one game where we did Phoenix it because we had to add a card for the Phoenix discard, but we did Baron that.
Yeah. So we do that, then we make Savage, turn those two into Access, pop.
Then we just pop
Baron negate.
everything.
Yep. Let me just climb.
To dark, set up that, and then we could take the Baron again.
Mm-hmm.
Then draw phase with Baron, otherwise you can just Ash send it.
Nice. Alright, so
pretty clean.
So game 2, we open up Tactics, Ash, Poplar, Witch, Lullaby. They open up Cross Out, Tactics, Call By, Summon Limit, Ash. So they were basically one starter away from having like the God opening.
The most broken hands ever.
Yeah, but it was chill. They didn't open a starter and we don't play hand trap, so we were never playing into the Tactics. But they end up setting 3 and passing. They cross out Ash.
Like, one of those definitely had to be some of them.
Yeah.
Like, there was no way it wasn't. So we knew that. We decided to use the Lullaby there because we realized that if we Lullabied before our summon count was before we couldn't summon anymore, then we would just be summoning a card that we couldn't use to our field. But after playing into the summon limit, which we figured was there, we could add it to hand.
Yeah. They end up checking it with Ash, but we end up drawing 2 non-engine, so it was kind of chill.
Yeah.
Okay. They don't draw engine. Set. Pass. Yep. Then there's just game on board.
Just go battle phase. We just go battle. That was game right there.
Yes, sir. Clean 2-0. Next match. Alright, so again, we lose the dice roll, and it's another mirror. They go first, and they start Bonfire at Snake Ash. So, our hand is pretty strong. We're missing a starter, but we have 5 non-engine. So, if we draw a starter, then we should be in there.
And the beauty of having stuff like the Bestials in the mirror is situations where you can use your opponent's resources as your own, pretty much going second. So as long as you can check the board enough to get to one of the Charmers, you could usually end up just using their resources to get into your own engine.
Yeah. So fast forward through it, they hit us with the full synchro combo again. Target that, chain Druis. They're thinking they let it go.
And then this time they let it go through. So we started with Druid Swarm because if they negated it, then we chained Magnema, and it would have been very beneficial.
Yeah.
Here with Druis, they're just gonna negate it and then resummon it. It's whatever. They were gonna do that regardless.
Mm-hmm. So end phase, we activate Magnema, and we hit the formula, and they use it to Magnema. They're thinking about ashing it because they have Ash Blossom, but I guess they opt not to, and we add back the Druid Swarm because we don't know whether we're going to top deck a monster, so it doesn't make sense for us to add another dragon like Flambridge. It just makes sense for us to add back the Druid Swarm, so worst case scenario, we can play Bestial, control, and revive their Witch.
Yeah, with the Dark, yeah.
But we draw Bonfire.
So we draw Bonfire. We did. There was probably something we could have done instead. Is probably using Book of Eclipse here first to try to force out the Ash Blossom, because that would have pretty much turned off everything besides their imperm. So they might have ended up doing that.
Yeah. I mean, we could have done that, but I don't even know if that's correct because. If we Book of Eclipse first and they ash it, and then our Bonfire resolves, I'm pretty sure we win the game either way. But they get to resolve Promethean to pop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or they either get to resolve Promethean or they get to imperm us, and they get a bunch of bodies back, right? So it's just more stuff to have to kill through, I guess.
Yeah, they get all their cards. But from here, we pretty much just have to contend with the one imperm, which we had the Sauravis to check. So we're pretty much...
We just have to find a way to effectively kill through double Flambridge, which shouldn't be an issue, but mainly the follow-up. We have to find a way to kill through that. So we just... calm one here, turn those to formula, draw another card, draw Witch. That was a really good draw there.
That was a broken draw.
Because we were missing a spellcaster. That was something we were talking about.
So then we're like, yeah, this just made this 100 times easier because now we could just go into Selene and then go into Baron, Selene access code, and then
pop
we
both.
can just negate whatever Flambridge effect activates and then go for game there.
Tap.
Another clean 2-0.
Game 2.
Actually, that was the first game.
Yeah, game 2. Our hand is busted again. We have Econ, Tactics, Reborn, Fenrir, and Sinful. They open up Cross Out, Tactics, Fenrir, Poplar, Wanted. So again, they have this Cross Out and Tactics in their deck, but we're not playing any hand traps, and they're just not siding out the Tactics.
So a lot of issue people see with the breaker approach is using, like, if they do have cross out, like, yeah, you don't play into the cross out with the hand traps, but now they could just cross out your engine in the mirror. But just from my experience, and I think we'll see it this game too, it usually they don't end up cross-outing our engine here because they cross out the Fenrir, I believe. But normally it's something that people are very scared about when playing like no hand traps in that situation.
Yeah.
But
And I feel like that only matters. Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like that only matters when you only have the Ash to play with. Like when you're using their resources, then I don't think it even matters.
They drew the nib for turn off the wanna draw, which is broken, and then we had Econ to take the Apo.
Yeah. Normal summon, Poplar effect, grab our own Divine Temple. So they did that. We put up Ash, Kribo, Poplar effect, Chain Promethean. We allow that to resolve just so they put the princess on their board so they can't nib. But then they link the princess away, so it's kind of obvious to us that they have Nibiru if they're designed to.
So then here, I believe we chose 2 talents look at hand, and then we sniped the nib out because that was just like obvious that they had it. So then now, I believe we checked that pretty much everyone's interruption. The Fenrir can't be used because it was cross-outed. So we're just clearing away a board here now.
Yeah. Summon out Flamebird, Spell Trap the Fenrir. Go Dark take IP. Promethean, bring back Raging Zelantis. Pop Oak in that. Raging, turn those two. Yep, Hida, bring back 2. Bring that back. Celine, bring back a body. Access code. And you just pop all the monsters. This is just mega game. GG's.
Yeah, on game, yep. So another clean 2-0.
Now we get into the Dragon Link matches. Again, we lose the dice roll. Their hand is solid. Our hand is solid also. But our non-engine isn't like the greatest versus Dragon
Link. Yeah. It's very tailored for the fire matchups and something like stun, voiceless, stuff like that.
Yeah. So they have Chaos Space Safer, Lubellion, which is just like godly Dragon Link opening. So you have Ravine, Dump, Absol, grab Tracer. Magna comes down to get the end-phase search. Lubellion sets up the regain. Triple Burst, Banish, add back Lubellion. Summon back, pitch that, add Levy. Banish 3 Darks, rip a card out of our hand. Put back that, great, get a second hand trap.
They hit the bonfire, yep.
Go into Borland, bring back Tracer, make seals, pop. So we have Seal, Savage, Borland, double hand trap with Baldrick. Okay, Book of Eclipse, normal summon Poplar, Chain.
Yeah, that was the only thing he was going to get value on. We had to kind of see if he was going to interrupt the Poplar with something else besides the Borland, because then we could Econ Tribute, take the Borland.
Yeah.
But he did it with the Borland, so it was unfortunate.
Econ to
chain the Econ to the Imperm there, so which resolves. He does Baldrake here to summon Oak. Banish.
Yeah, the Veiler was just unfortunate.
Yeah, so he did that to banish the Link Karibo so we couldn't dodge it with the, or dodge the Veiler on the Oak. So we drew Saravis there, which actually let us like play a little through the Baldrake, but it still wouldn't have been enough.
Yeah, his follow-up was just too good, and they had the second Bishop. Alright, so game 2, we open up Witch Combo. So, Witch Combo, Summon Limit, Call By. So, our hand was pretty good.
Yeah, I believe here we just do the normal line for synchros. I think we get nibbed here. Yep. So then we just pivot to the normal end board. I think, do we end up leaving this on board? So I can't remember if we linked off the IP because we were like, yeah, he's playing Bistials. Yeah, okay, so
I think we just like still go for it. But I think what ends up happening.
Oh yeah, we're trying to go for Baron before we use the Flambridge effect to force it. So he ends up just leaving that. He doesn't try to Bistial it, so he's just saving it for his turn.
Draws another Nibiru. We go IP into SP. Target chain. Just to force the second summon. Get our guys out. Get our value. And then just flip summon on it. It's just like, yeah.
And then it just passes, and then we're just clearing this up under Nib.
Yeah.
Then we go to game 3.
Okay, so this is the controversy.
Yeah.
He goes activate, regain, pass. Our hand is obviously very good. Very, very good. We normal summon Snake Ash effect. It gets Veilered and we opt to chain Call by the Grave. Which is it's fine. Kind of. The issue is we get hard punished if they have a Beast still in hand, which I kind of read by the fact that they just pass. Like usually when Dragonlink just passes, it's because like they either have all hand traps or they just bricked on like Bistils and like field spells and stuff.
Yeah, and the field spells and shit.
And the fact that they activated the regain and pass, like just read that they just had a Bistil in hand.
Yeah, like I think there was no world where they didn't have a Bistial. It was like the two biggest things I think was like either way it checks what they had. Like either not using the called by on the Veiler or just before normal summoning Ash, activating the field spell. Yeah. I think either way, if you activated the field spell and then chain the called by, then you summon Poplar, and that's still pretty much like game either way. Or if you just hold the called by and just eat the Veiler, and then we can
try to draw two.
Yeah, then you could just try to, because then we would have called by for the Ash when we try to talent draw too. I think that is slightly more gambling. I think Temple first action was just always the correct play.
Yeah.
Especially when like a Bistial is like the most obvious read in the entire like hand right there.
Yep. But we end up chaining, and then they end up chaining their Bistral, and then putting back the Veiler, drawing another Bistral. We activate the Divine Temple now, putting up the Popular, and then drawing two that gets hit with the Ash Blossom, and we pass, and they draw a Rocket Chaser.
Can you pause there? Actually, yeah. So I was wondering if we talents took, activated the field spell, no, because it would still, like either way, like if we used Ash effect, it would still lose to the and it was Veilered anyway. Never mind. I'm tripping.
Yeah. So they top deck that. We get out the Popular effect. Just get a search, setting up blockers, but they have that. We spell trap it, but they top decked another Bistral. We chain our Bistral to target their target. So we just banish both their targets, their reborn target and their add back target. But they draw a quick launch, which is like insane.
Pretty good there.
Yeah. So then we seals.
Battle phase.
Then they tribute summon over the seals, which gets Star Liege out the deck, which gets Black Dragon, which just like snowballs like a full Dragon combo, especially with the quick launch draw. So they're just able to clear most of our board and leave us in a really bad spot.
And it was also probably worth maybe not even just letting, because I think we probably could have let that Bistial go through because we knew he didn't have his normal summon yet. Either way, he was going to get the draw, so I guess like put him on draw something decent off the off the regained without actually using any of our unknown interactions on it.
Yeah. Definitely. Alright, next match, or the last match of the Ironman, we have our boy Evil Shinron versus Sean. So, again, lose the dice roll. And Evil is on the Fire King version. This hand is not good. And this hand is very good.
Their hand was just so good. And again, we lost the die roll as usual.
Yeah. With this hand, it's kind of fine that we lost the dice roll. Maybe the DB gods would have gave us a different hand if we went first, but
yeah,
this hand
was the one hand that we needed to have going second.
Yeah, well, it didn't even matter. They had Chaos Space. They had Black Metal, Safer, Lubellion, Chaos Space. Like, I don't know, man. I don't think there was much we could have done differently. I'm pretty sure we just end up scooping.
Yeah,
on the replay. The replay doesn't even want to play.
Don't even want to witness that.
Yeah, so we end up just like scooping on their draw. Game 2, we go first. We open up Witch, Ash, Tactics, cross out. So our hand is exceptional.
Yeah, it's pretty perfect there too, to kind of counter the perfect hand that they had game 1 as well.
Yeah, so we do that. That gets hit with Ash. We take away their white. We already have Sanctuary plus original, so we can summon out Oak. Oak revive a body. Tribute Bolt, summon Flamberge. Flamberge, do that. Island pop, add that. Effect, dump Arvada, turn those two into Sunlight, bring back 2, add back Flamberge. Turn those into Promethean, bring back Arvada. Turn that to Hida that, Celine. So we have double fire on board just in case he's able to out one. And then game 3, so he scoops. Game 3, we open up Sacred Phoenix, Ponix, Oak, Druid's Worm, Island. So when we don't need to draw the Fire King cards, we open up 3 of our 5 Fire King cards. And Oak, which is...
Yeah, Oak again.
Yeah, so our hand was actually terrible. Their hand is like solid enough. Like I won't lie and say that their hand is amazing, but it's good. Like it plays.
Yeah. I think it's definitely good enough to beat the hand that we had for sure.
Yeah, and even this hand is not just like an auto lose, right? Like we still have like certain plays, like we hard drew Island and Gruning, so we can like summon, like get a Kieran in the grave early, pop a card, get bodies on the board. So we end up hitting their Rocket Tracer. But they end up having a second Rocket Tracer, which is just unfortunate. And so they're going to Lubellion into SP to banish to force a draw. And they chain that, and they end up drawing Anti-Spell.
Drew the Anti-Spell.
They drew Anti-Spell. And we
all over again.
and we top deck Bonfire, which was an amazing top deck, which probably wins us the game through...
I could have went my entire life without remembering that they drew Anti-Spell off that, because I had completely forgotten before we did this.
Yeah, so they end up drawing Anti-Spell, which actually like completely matters, because if they don't have Anti-Spell, we activate Bonfire for Poplar, and then we just auto win the game. Like we just have Poplar.
Summon Oak. Oh, it would be so good.
It's so broken, but they top deck Anti-Spell, so they actually just sack us to death. We just set 2 cards. And yeah, it's just like access code on the crackback. They dump a card, like whatever, normal summon Ash, make access code, pop our monster, negate Garunix, and then it's just game.
It's just game from there, yeah.
Which is super unfortunate. Like a lot of things had to go right for them to win this Ironman, and it did, and that happens. But you know, it's just one of those things. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully we have more Ironman analysis content in the future on the channel. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Have a great day.